Alright, yeah, and welcome back to some more Magic Duels. So, a little bit of a change for the format today. Usually we end up making changes on the third video, but the day that this video comes out, I'm actually not going to be here, so I've decided to make the changes early. There are a few things that I wanted to mess around with on this deck anyway, so the sooner the better, pretty much. So, the basic format of the deck is roughly the same, except for we've cut down the spell quellers. You guys weren't sure about them, and I'm kind of pro spell queller, but at the same time I thought maybe we'll cut them down. So we took out the 2 spell quellers. We've added in a calculated dismissal as another counter spell, just to make sure that we're not cutting down on counters. So counter target spell, unless its controller pays 3. The spell mastery on this is what makes it worth playing though. If there are 2 or more instances of sorceries in your graveyard, it's control, so it's probably going to happen. Then we get to scry 2, so that allows us to sort out our draws. I'm not sure whether or not I want this over a Essence Scatter. For the early game against aggression, Essence Scatter can be a little bit better than most of our counters being locked down on turn 3. It allows our opponent essentially a few turns to be able to resolve a lot of stuff. I mean, we do have, of course, our Fatal Pushes that can take care of it, but they're only a 2 of, and also our Declaration in Stone, so we kind of can hold off until that turn 3 point, and then we can Oath of Liliana counter and whatever we want to do. We've also added in ourselves a Sorin as well. One of you guys mentioned this is missing, and I do like Sorin ever so I've decided to put him in. For 4 and a white and a black, we've got 6 loyalty Planeswalker. He's +1, he's what you want to use him for most of the time. Reveal the top card of your library, put that card into your hand, and then each opponent loses life equal to its converted mana cost. So if we revealed, for example, a Jace Unraveler of Secrets, then we get to deal 5 damage to our opponent there, that kind of thing. And if we reveal a land, we deal 0, which is unfortunate, of course, but it is part and parcel of Sorin. He's -X. It allows us to deal with Planeswalkers, which is quite good, and also any creatures that might be threatening him. We can -X, deal X damage to target creature or Planeswalker, and you gain X life, so we can regain some of that life total. A lot of this deck as well is taking a beating until the last moment. We essentially, maybe against an aggression deck, this is how it would work. They'd essentially, for the first couple of turns, play loads of creatures, take us down to a really low life total. Then we'll languish, they'll have no board state left, and we'll stabilize from there, essentially. Everything after that point will counter and remove, and our opponent just really can't recover from that kind of thing, so we want to be doing that. His ultimate, which I don't think is going to be used very often, but it does occasionally see some play. -9, put a number of 1/1 black Vampire Knight tokens with lifelink onto the battlefield, equal to the highest life total among all players, which is probably going to be our opponent. So whatever life our opponent's going to be on, I would guess, well, it wouldn't be 20 because we'll be doing the +1 on them over and over and over again until we get to this -9. So we might get maybe 10 at best 1/1 life linkers, which is still not bad, but we can also then counter whatever board wipe they've got to stabilize, and that could be quite useful for us. We've then got our Cruel Reality, because you guys said our top end wasn't that good, and I do really like Cruel Reality as a fun option for winning, as most of you well know. 5 and 2 black, Enchantment, Aura, Curse. So we enchant our opponent, and at the beginning of that player's upkeep, that player sacrifices a creature or a Planeswalker, and if they're unable to do so, they lose 5 life. So in 4 turns of them not having a creature or a Planeswalker, we win, is usually how it goes. For the most part, you want to slam this down when they've got nothing on the board, so that you're guaranteed at least that 5 life, so that if they do remove it, because maybe you've tapped out completely and don't have a counter open, then at least you'll get the value off of it of some form or another. 7 mana to deal 5 life's not great, but it's better than doing nothing. So that's essentially the changes that we've made to the deck. I do hope you enjoy the changes that I've made, and if you want to check out the matches, they shall be coming right up. See you there. Alright, we're in. We've got some creature removal and some board wipes. If this is a creature focused matchup, this hand is lovely. If it is not, then it is not. I think we'll keep it. We could draw into counters as well, so we'll see. Turn 1 Prairie Stream allows our Glacial Fortress to come into play and tap next turn, so we can hold up Declaration in Stone, or use it as it were. And Evolving Wilds says to me this isn't an aggressive deck. black mana. This is going to be interesting. Sunken Hollow. Well, we don't need a sorcery speed Declaration in Stone open, so I might as well play our Hollow. Means that we've definitely got 4 mana open up on time as well. Green, black. Is this revolt or counters or something like that, I guess? There's a counter spell. Okay. Now we get to pretend we've got counters, not that they'd play around them. Not that they should play around them. You should just play into them until we've got none left. But who knows if he'll do that or not. Oh, it's Jund. Has he got a follow-up play? He hasn't. He's got something to play though. But now so do we. So we've got Glimmer of Genius and we've got a counter spell open if we need it. Pretty sweet, if you ask me. So we can go hunting for more counter spells because this looks like more of a counter-focused matchup. Since he's not actually playing anything. Arlinn Kord, goodbye. Planeswalker's not allowed on this board. I don't really want him having a 2-2 either. Otherwise I might have considered the Anguished Unmaking. We'll save that for later. Alright, land and pass. He might consider throwing something to bait in now that he knows we're running counter spells. But Oath of Liliana. Okay, no value off of that just yet. This may be John's Super Friends then. Could just be using that as removal, it's pretty decent. Right, there's a counter spell. And I guess we'll take the Telling Time as well. As something to do if we don't counter. And we get more lands. A land that can attack, actually. Which is pretty sweet. So we can Telling Time and we can Calculated Dismissal with Spell Mastery Online. Corrects the Evolving Wilds for a Plains. Super Friends, almost certainly. And he passes. Alright, we'll Telling Time. Look for some more counters. Scatter to the Winds and a Torrential Gearhulk. Also a counter in this matchup. And we'll pass. So as long as we hit all of his Planeswalkers, he don't stand a chance. We might end up seeing a concession from him. As soon as his hand's empty of any kind of threat. He's just going to let it go. So we're actually going to Torrential Gearhulk and we're going to Glimmer of Genius. Fill our hand full of counters. There are no flash Planeswalkers, so nothing to worry about there. There's no counter spells. He's going to cast out our Gearhulk. Sure. So we can use Anguished Unmaking whenever we want and we'll get value off of the Gearhulk. So it's still a counter spell. Sorin, pretty sweet. Planeswalker killer, and we get some more Planeswalkers as well. Land drop. Ooh, not quite. Now then. Could really do with a land drop. So if we went Telling Time, found a land. Telling Time, found a land. We'd have 5 mana open. So we could hold up a counter. Looks like we might be discarding to hand size in this particular case. Short of a Chandra, I don't know if there's anything that he could play. Big Chandra, anything that he could play that would punish me from playing something like a Sorin, which could also get me a land. Yeah, let's play Sorin. Hope for a land drop. It'll do no damage to him, but still. It's a decent threat on the board. We hit a land. Nice. Hitting land drops is absolutely key. We'll get some more blue, I guess. So if we got double white, we've got Prairie Stream and Isolated Chapel. Yeah, we got double white. So we'll get more blue. Hope we don't see Big Chandra. We do have an answer, and Sorin will survive. We'll get rid of Declaration in Stone. Doesn't seem that good here. Cast out for our Sorin. Okay. So we can... It's going to be very costly, but we can Anguished Unmaking the cast out with the Gear Hulk, which allows us to flash back the Unmaking to cast out the Sorin. It's going to cost us 6 life to do so, but we get ourselves a decent threat on the board, and we also get counter backup as well. Let's get rid of that cast out. Cast the Unmaking from the graveyard. Get rid of that cast out, get back Sorin. Tick up Sorin. Our opponent doesn't take any damage. And we've got 7 cards in hand. So we can Telling Time and still hold up a counter. So I think that's what we'll do. We could actually Declaration in Stone the Tireless Tracker to make sure he doesn't get card advantage, actually. That seems better. So we'll do that. Unless we use Calculated Dismissal, we're going to have to use some energy on the Ether Hub, but I really don't think that's ever going to become a problem in this matchup. So we got 5 energy, so we can tap this 5 times, and we got another Ether Hub as well. Crax's Clue. Most Planeswalkers will get countered by this Dismissal. And even if they don't, Sorin can kill them with his minus. We can get all that life we lost back. He's got a cut. Sure. He's going for a Ribbons later down the line, so we're just going to have to remember that. Oh, he's going for a Radiant Flames. Never mind. Well, we'll get that. We need to always hold up a counter. Ooh. Glimmer of Genius is pretty good. We'll scry that to the top. Draw that next turn. Player Ether Hub. Tick up Sorin. Hope to hit big. Ob Nixilis is considered hitting big, I'd say. And we've got a counter open if we Ob Nixilis, so we'll Ob Nixilis as well. I think this should just seal the deal, because he's going to go down to 10. We're going to draw some more cards with Ob Nixilis. We've got a Languish, but that won't be relevant, I don't think. Not before this game's over, anyway. Takes 5, pass the turn. He can Ribbons for 5, which isn't enough. Now 6. Okay. He's potentially dead next turn. Declaration in Stone. Yeah, we'll scatter that. That's been scattered. He could have a follow-up Planeswalker, I suppose. But with 2 Planeswalkers on the board for us, I don't think it's going to matter. He's just going to pass. Alright. We get a Plains. Tick up Ob Nixilis. Look for a counter. Wait and never. Tick up Sorin. Look for a counter and damage him. Revealing another never. It's down to 3. So if we can get this Gear Hulk in for damage, then we win. Should have probably gone for the Shambling Vent, but I don't think it matters. Nope. Alright. Decent enough game. Alright, let's go on to another match. I'll see you there. Alright, we're in, and we're on the draw. If we got a black land on turn 3, this Liliana would be awesome. And it kind of leads well into our other cards. It's risky, because it doesn't do anything otherwise other than a Fatal Push. We can cycle the cast out if it gets really bad, though, so I think we'll keep it. We'll take this risk. So it's going to probably be turn 1 Prairie Stream, turn 2 Isolated Chapel. Hope to draw a Swamp in time for the Liliana, and hope that the Liliana is safe when we do eventually do that as well. That is what we hope. Okay, what's our opponent playing? Red. Oh boy. Red is a kind of good sign. Ahaha, nice. Alright, Evolving Wilds. It's kind of a good sign because it means that there's a lot of 1 toughness creatures and things that Liliana can actually lock down. So we may very well see a good turn 3 Liliana here. On the other hand, it may be an incredibly aggressive deck that we don't stand a chance against. We'll see. Opponent not playing very aggressively, taking their time. Also not really doing anything on turn 2 either. Interesting. Right, well, we're going to go Prairie Stream. We've got a Fatal Push to take down anything. Unfortunately, if he hasn't played anything turn 1 or turn 2, it looks like this Fatal Push might not actually hit anything. But maybe Liliana can lock it down, whatever it ends up being. If it ends up being anything at all. Fair enough. Well, it could be an Exquisite Firecraft in his hand. He could be playing Burn and he's waiting for us to play something that he can target. I think we'll go with Liliana anyway. Don't really want to play around it too much. Right, tick up. If we can get it to 7, we can probably win. So let's just try and keep us safe until then. We've got Fatal Push, we've got counters. Actually, have we got counters? We don't have counters. So he does have a shock. Yeah. Has he got another one? He lets that go, actually. Ah, missed our land drop. Right, well, tick up Liliana. I think I'm going to cycle this cast out. Just try to hit our land drops for the turn. We can still Fatal Push. Just don't tap down our blue. It's the only mana I don't want you tapping down. We need a blue source. Hey, there we go. That'll do. So we can keep Liliana safe now. And remove any creatures that come down. So a counter for anything that kills Liliana. If a creature can be killed, then we'll go with our Fatal Push. We now have Languish open as well. Glorybringer needs to be countered. Can't let that resolve. And our opponent's had enough. Yeah, it seems like they cannot take care of this Liliana. Well, we're going to tick up. We're going to play our Evolving Wilds for the turn. We've got double black, we've got double white, we've got double blue. So I guess we'll go and grab some more blue. Should have probably held on to that, actually, for the Fatal Push. That was my bad, but we've got a counter, so pretty much anything that comes down. If Glorybringer was like the first thing that he cast, I doubt he's really got anything to answer this. What has he got in hand? It must be all creature burn and stuff like that, I suppose. Which is why he's scooped. So we'll play our land, we'll pass. A few more turns and then Liliana can ultimate. And once that's happened, I don't think our opponent can really come back from that. They can start using probably all the burn in their hand, but not going to do them too much good. Alright, keep ticking up. It's now got Torrential Gearhulk with a counter as well, which is pretty good. We've also got Telling Time if we want to do that. So if he makes his counter, then we can Telling Time. Goes with a Blood Rage Brawler. Yeah, we'll let that go. He might discard a Fiery Temper with this, and then we'll counter that. I just want to make sure that he discards something, and indeed he did. So we'll kill that. In fact, we'll also Telling Time while we're at it. And loads of lands. Have we got both of our basics? We do. Alright, well. Take these Sunken Hollows. Doesn't really make a difference, but take them all the same. Take up Lily. And this is why turn 3 Lily is so powerful. Because next turn we can Emblem. And I'm really not even bothered about keeping her alive. As long as we can Emblem, we'll win. and just do it right now. I mean, I suppose... No, let's not delay it any further. Let's just go. If I was against a human, I probably would tick up a little bit further. But we get 2 zombies on our end step. We got a Gear Hulk to counter. And draw if we want to do that instead. Next turn we get 4 zombies, and it's just going to get out of hand. And we're just going to steamroll our opponent. Okay, they pass. I'm going to Gear Hulk. And we will Telling Time. Just get that pressure on the board. Get this over and done with as quickly as possible. Alright, take the counter. Take the counter. Opponent hasn't been casting anything, so the next thing he draws is going to be the thing that he wants to cast. And in the event of that, in fact, let's also Shambling Vent up. In the event of that, we've got 3 counters now, so... Our opponent is done for. Oh, he's got a Magma Spray. Sure, we'll let that go. Another Magma Spray, sure. Still hitting you for 7. And then we get 2 more zombies on our end step. Which is why I'm really not bothered about saving them. And I'm kind of... The only thing that we could really be worried about in the slightest is like Big Chandra. And we'll counter that. Big Chandra or removal for our Gear Hulk. / Shambling Vent. Okay. It's going to be a land and pass again. Fair enough. Well, there's a Sorin. We can cast Sorin and still hold up counters, so I will. Where do we get our opponent to? We get our opponent to lethal. Alright. Swing in. Oh, he's got Hungry Flames. Countered. He's going to need another burn spell in order to survive here. And if he doesn't have it... Oh, he does. Okay, so he takes 7. 1 card in hand, though, and he needs to take care of more than 1 threat. There's a Harness Lightning. Can take down the last zombie. Still have lethal on him next turn. We get 2 zombies. There's no top deck that gets him out of this. So, that's a pass. Alright. We draw a counterspell. We take up Sorin. Do we win? We win. Alright. Okay, guys. Well, that was textbook control right there and then. I think the reason we won was mostly because all of his cards in hand targeted creatures. So, it was a bad matchup for him, so we were almost guaranteed to win, but we curved out really nicely there, so I'm very happy about that. Anyway, guys, that's where we're going to leave off the episode. So if you did enjoy the content, then be sure to like and subscribe. It helps me out a great deal and lets me know you're enjoying the series. And it'll give you notifications when I release new videos if you hit that bell icon as well, right next to the subscription button. I do hope you've enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.